Well, thank you for joining us at our public information meeting for the East River Lift Station Renewal Improvements in Force Main project. So this is a project really important to New Water. I'm going to give you some background about who New Water is, for those of you unfamiliar, and then I'm going to turn it over to people closer to the project than me who know more of the details and can speak to that. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'll do some introductions, give you that background on New Water, project overview, closing, and then we'll be around for questions if there's specific questions, like Lisa said, about your property, what the construction activity might look like. We'll be able to talk about that. So my name is Nathan Qualls. I'm the executive director at New Water. We have Lisa Saru and Max McGuire from our staff. Max is new to the organization. Lisa's been with New Water 11 years. I've been there for about 16, it'll be 17 years of this year. And we have folks from Donahue and Associates who help us with the planning and design work for the project activities. So they'll be able to give you some background on the project as well. So for those of you not familiar, New Water is the brand of the Green Bay Metropolitan Sewerage District. So we are the regional wastewater entity for the greater Northeast Wisconsin area. We serve the 15 municipalities that you see on the list, right? So the city of De Pere, the city is one of our customers. The direct homeowners aren't necessarily our customers, but the municipalities are. For example, the city of Green Bay is our largest customer. We send out 15 bills each month. So we provide that wastewater conveyance and treatment of the wastewater from those 15 municipalities. Can you tell it's really hard to see the boundary, but kind of along a line somewhere around here, all the shaded area that is south of that line goes to the De Pere wastewater treatment facility, and then all of this other shaded dark area goes to a treatment plant called the Green Bay facility. It's at the mouth of the Fox River. And so, being city of De Pere residents, the wastewater from your home gets conveyed to and then treated at the wastewater treatment facility. It's located in between Ashwaubenon Park and Brown County Fairgrounds on the west side of the river. So, at least now you know where your wastewater is treated if you didn't before. So, this project is going to be centered on the east side of De Pere from our East River Lift Station, located by the East River, and you'll hear more about that. But so that's our service area, and we've been in organization since 1931. It's kind of formed during the Depression, and as environmental impacts on the river, the East River and the Fox River, were occurring, and the Green Bay Metropolitan Sewerage District was brought together, was formed to begin conveying wastewater and treating wastewater at our Green Bay facility. And our staff work around the clock, 24/7, 365, and this is to be able to provide those around the clock services for our customers. So like I mentioned, we have two wastewater treatment facilities. The Green Bay facility is the larger of the two, treats about 33 million gallons per day of wastewater at the Green Bay facility, and at the De Pere facility about 8 million gallons per day through that facility. Not just the residents, but also the businesses and some of the larger industries in town as well, like the paper industry, for example, provides us a lot of wastewater as well. And we own 78 miles of some of those gravity sewers that are out in the collection system. So amongst the streets and things like that, we do own some of those pipes as well. So we do this on behalf of the environment, on behalf of our customers, to serve with the goal of protecting our most valuable resource, water. So this project is really important to help us continue to do that. We need to convey the wastewater from the east side of De Pere and from Ledgeview, and be able to convey that wastewater to the treatment plant so we can treat it and return it to the environment, meeting all of our permit requirements and being able to protect the environment. So I am going to turn this over now to Brittany. She'll walk you through the project specific.
Okay, thanks Nathan. So So I'm Brittany Hess. I'm the project manager for this project. We have the focus of the project is kind of broken down in a bunch of sub areas. So I'll go through all of those and then we can ask any questions or have any other conversations related to the project. So we're getting into the specifics project overview section here. So the project background. So the East River Lift Station, as Nathan mentioned, serves portions of De Pere, Ledgeview, and the village of Bellevue. They were originally constructed in 1998. At that time of original construction, there were three pumps that were able to lift the stormwater or lift the wastewater and convey it to the treatment facility. And at that time, there was one force main. So in 2005, a second force main was put into service. So these are all part of New Water's assets that they own and maintain in order to provide the wastewater conveyance services to all the customers. So this is more on the site of the project. So the project need and cost. So every time a project's been identified or there needs to be an upgrade, there's a bunch of factors that go into what make this project elevated that needs to be designed and constructed. So we'll go into some of those details here. So age and condition. That becomes a big issue when we have these critical assets. So the lift station needs to run at all times in order to maintain service and provide service to the residents and the customers of the service area. So typically when engineers design assets like this, we give it about a 20-year useful life. There are ways that you can extend this useful life through preventative maintenance and other maintenance activities like that, but this is generally the asset time frame that we're looking at to provide a clear level of service and continued level of service. As we showed on the other slide, this lift station was put into service in 1998, so it is about time to look at some renewal of those assets. We also are looking at adding additional capacity, and that will be identified when I go through the project scope area. So just to provide for any future growth, future development of this service area, we want to be able to provide continued level of service at all times, and also reliability. So it is, as a 24/7 operation, we want to be able to provide continued service at all times. So a few of those identified areas are what promoted this project to go look through design and construction. So between the lift station and the force main, the combined construction estimate is about $11 million, and that is funded through New Water's municipal customers. So the project scope. So this is more of the details of exactly what is being done. So as we talked about, there are two separate construction packages. So this is known as the East River Lift Station Renewal Project, so that is the top portion of this slide, and then there's the force main contract. So within the lift station, there will be replacing those three existing pumps that were identified and then also adding that fourth pump for capacity. So that can provide additional service to the customers for any future development, future growth, or anything related to the service area. There are some of those enhanced station reliabilities. So backup emergency power through the form of a generator. So during any power outages or power event, there will be backup emergency power. There are some building exterior and interior improvements. Those are mainly related to the lift station building as well as exterior site improvements on the site. And I do have a plan sheet that you'll be able to see that. There's some electrical and mechanical improvements. This will make it easier for operators to maintain the station, access different portions of it as well. Additionally, there's also some flood protection. So we are elevating some of the transformers through outside of the flood protection level so that there is a picture that will show you as to why that's needed. So that is all within the scope of the lift station project. Then we also have the force main portion of the project. So that is adding an additional force main that will meet future hydraulic flow and capacity needs for the customers of the area. So that will just be broken into that project, and then the lift station will be a separate project. So a couple of these photos just kind of show you what some of these assets look like. There's also a street view that I can show you, but from the street as you're driving by, you may not even know what these brick buildings have down in them. They generally have a wet well, which is below grade, and then they have a surface area, a surface level or at grade level, where operators can access. But this is the below grade level of what the pumps look like. So you can see, I know how to work this, pointer. So here are these three existing pumps here. You can see kind of the motors up here as well. And And this is just a different view where you can see those 3 pipes, or 3 pumps. And then so a 4th pump will be in and will be exactly in line with these pumps as well. So that'll be able to provide full service during dry weather and wet weather events. So that's important that they're constantly providing service for day-to-day flow. So every time we, anything that comes from our house, toilets, laundry, anything like that. And then also during wet weather flow, we also need to make sure there is ways rainwater can get into the system, so providing that full hydraulic capacity is important. So which is also helps with that 4th pump addition. So here's some of this photo on the right these are the transformers in their existing location. So you can see there was some flooding that was done from an event in 2019. So now these transformers are going to be shifted on site and raised higher, so hopefully high water levels won't be an issue in the future. And then also for the force main contract, as you're looking at impacts and any construction issues that might come into play, this is what a traditional trench looks like. So the force main's below grade. You can see the pavement structure here, some of the pavement substructure here, and then the contractor digs down to place the pipe in this area. So this is about as wide as what the construction disturbance would be in any given street during the force main contract. So the project location. So this is what I was referring to as the brick building here. So the East River Lift Station is located on the corner of East River Drive and Dickinson Street here. Here you can see that this is that brick building that's shown there on the left, and those are those existing transformers here. And then the force main itself is just under about 8,000 linear feet that's being installed. So it begins at this East River Lift Station location here. That is East River Drive and Dickinson. The alignment is what is shown in blue here. So it goes down Dickinson, turns to Brule, then goes down Charles Street. Up here is Webster Avenue, so it connects into New Water's existing assets that are already in place in Webster Avenue. This black line here is the municipal boundary between De Pere and Ledgeview. So the project design. So this is the plan sheet that I was referring to. This is showing the future improvements. This is actually what Lisa referenced that is in the plan set there, and this is an example of what the contractors get for design and construction. So this is actually the erosion control plan, so I'll just point out some new features here and some of those site improvements as well. Here's the existing lift station. Some of that's kind of grayed out, but mainly nothing related to the building perimeter is being impacted there, so it's kind of just a gray. There are some exterior improvements that we talked about. Some of this is new landscaping that you'll see that helps prevent screening to the public and just kind of keeps New Water's assets hidden behind some landscaping, so it's not open to everybody. There is some driveway paving, some turnaround areas. This is a new generator building that will be providing that backup power and more reliability that we discussed. There's some landscaping, green infrastructure. Here's that transformer placement, and you can see these lines here are grade lines for contour and topography. So you can see that we have elevated the transformer placement, and that's being depicted right here. And then, as I said, about new landscaping. So this is what, if we were looking at a plan view, this is what future construction would look like. And then the force main design. So here, this is a similar map to what was shown on the other sheet, but this kind of shows some of the existing assets that are already in place. So the existing force main starts here at that East River Drive, and it has that same blue alignment. So it goes down Dickinson, then it goes to Brule, up to Charles, and then connects into that existing Charles Street interceptor. So that's in the Webster Avenue there. So that's already in place. That's a New Water owned asset. The red line is the existing force main that we talked about that's already in place there that we had. So there is a portion where the existing force main and proposed force main do not share the same alignment, but there's also places that they do have the same alignment and are in the same road. So the construction of the force main is primarily in public right-of-way, which means it's either in the street or it's in that adjacent area that's from the sidewalk to the curb, which is known as a terrace. That's still generally public right-of-way. So that's the maximum area of disturbance that would occur at any portion of the installation of the force main. So this, and then also this alignment has been reviewed through City of De Pere officials as well as Ledgeview officials. So we've worked with them throughout the course of design. They've been involved, have seen the alignment. We've allowed space for any future improvements that they might have. We've coordinated with the existing utilities. There are portions, as you can see, even where this existing force main is, the street does get pretty crowded in terms of what's below grade. So we have coordinated with them, allowed future real estate in the street for any future improvements that they might have. So hopefully this will minimize impacts across the board for any of the customers involved. And then, as I said, it connects at the Charles Street interceptor. So project impacts and schedule. A lot of this I've kind of already touched on, but we'll go through it in more detail. So the construction, as I talked about, was mainly in the street or that public right-of-way. So that's that area from the sidewalk to the curb. And then the street is anything in the street from curb to curb base. So as the impacts that you will experience as a resident or in a business in this area is that there will likely be traffic impacts. So that will be lane closures, traffic rerouting, anything like that. That's all identified in the plan set, and that will just give the contractor space. It makes it safe for you to be in that area as well. So a lot of those are marked with signage and other things. I'm sure we've all seen traffic. You know, summer of Wisconsin is when a lot of road construction gets done, so I'm sure we've all seen a lot of that around town lately. But I guess going into the construction season. And then there also will be some temporary driveway access, some temporary driveway restrictions. So particularly for some of the residents that are along Dickinson, they will experience a little bit longer temporary restrictions. So that's because of where that alignment is placed. It is closer to that curb line. So there will be some restrictions. The contractor will work with you, as well as we have that identified in the plan set to try and minimize impacts as much as possible. And then when you're along Charles Street and Burrell Street, based on where the force main is in the street, it won't disturb your driveway, but there might be some restriction because they might be working right in front of your driveway at that given time. But the contractor, there's lots of guidance and specifications that require the contractor to make notifications, and there's ways to have them know when your house is going to be impacted and when it won't be impacted. So, and then any grass and pavement repairs that are impacted by this project will be fixed and brought back up to existing conditions. So the estimated schedule for this construction will begin in 2026, and we expect it to take about a year. So you won't have full disturbance in front of your house for a year. It just will, as they slowly move along the force main route, there might be periods of disturbance and there might be longer impacts as some, but then eventually as they all go through, the trench area will be repaved and it'll be restored to existing conditions or reseeded. So the East River Lift Station, because that's all contained on the New Water's own site, it provides less impacts to everyone. We are connecting, the proposed force main does come down East River Drive a bit, so there will be some minor disturbance if you take East River Drive to work or school or live near that area, or there actually is a dentist office here now. Google Maps is not up to date, but if you visit that dentist, you might have some minor impacts at some point in time. But those, as I showed on that plan set, the real areas of disturbance are all localized to that site. So it likely won't impact much of the public in that area. And based on the estimated schedule there, we anticipate that it would start in 2026, and that has a longer construction time because there is more work, so that would be 2028 that we expect that to finish. And that kind of wraps up everything that we have related to the project. So I can definitely help answer any questions.